Today, I am in one of my favorite countries in the world, who just so happens to be the homeland of one of my favorite fighters in the world. I am talking about the #4 ranked women's pound for pound fighter in Bellator, and she's the current #2 ranked women's flyweight contender. I am talking about Miss Dynamite, Denise Kielholtz. So how are we doing in the Kingdom of the Netherlands on this beautiful spring afternoon for you?
Well, it's going perfect today. Today is a good day because the sun is shining, and in Holland we have also a country that, like, it depends on what day and which month it is that the weather is also very nice. But today the sun is shining, so can't be more happy to be here, and just with the sun and with the light and how I feel and excited about next week. So yeah, everything is just perfect.
Bring your coat if you go to Holland. I don't care what time of the year you go. Bring a coat. It's cold. If you can live there, and if you could survive there, you could survive anywhere. And that's what makes Dutch people really tough. And I think that's why they produce good fighters like you and Alistair. So here we go. We have an amazing fight lined up. But before I talk to you about that, I just kind of, Denise, wanted to get your opinion. It was a very close fight. You fought a very close fight. A lot of people in the media, not only myself, but a lot of people in the media thought you did enough to win. And it's never fun to lose, especially a controversial decision like the one that happened between you and Velasquez. Did you take some time away off of sport after that fight to just kind of like recharge your battery, so to speak?
No, not at all. I was after the fight. I went to New York with my team just for a few days, and that was the only time that I take off. And the moment that I came back to Amsterdam that Monday, straight away I went back to the gym and went back to training again, because besides of my face, I had no injury, I had nothing, and I was just more motivated than ever to do more than I can and prove that one day I will be a champion. So yeah, for me it was the decision was strange, and I also saw the fight a couple of times back. And in my opinion, for I'm being the world champion in kickboxing for years, and I know as a champion that you always have to work and prove everyone harder than you can that you are the champion and that you can stay the champion. And I think that a champion doesn't fight like that. So that was a little bit. I was confused, but no, that Monday straight away, right back to the gym and get back to work.
So no holidays, no nothing, right back to work.
No, okay. Right back to work. Yeah.
I always ask that question because I don't feel like there's a right or wrong answer. I think people process different things differently. Some people don't take a holiday, they go right back into training. Some people need to have a few days to just kind of process everything and go back in there. That's why I always kind of ask that question, because it's difficult. Every fighter's different. Every person is different. But I think that's really cool that you were able to just kind of like get back out there, stay active. We're talking about almost a year since that had happened, though. Was your plan for it to for your inactivity to go this long, or is that just the way it worked out?
No, it was for sure. It was not a plan. Like that Monday, I went straight away again back to the gym and work. And I think for me, it seems like it's almost a year, but it seems so much shorter because I'm working since then nonstop. So I had a fight in December, but because of COVID and my work visa was not approved because of COVID, it was on hold. So yeah, that's why I didn't make it to fight in December. But yeah, that's why also I feel on the other side that that it's been a year, but for my feeling and everything, it's like last month I fought, So, and also because of the decision and because of my motivation, that I'm motivated than ever to prove that one day I will be a champion. So that's why it doesn't feel like that long ago that I fought. So, but yeah, I want to fight more because I'm a fighter, and even if I don't have a fight, I train. I'm always in training camp. So I'm a fighter that's used to, also with my kickboxing career, fight almost every month. So this is in the stats. It's really long ago that I fought, but yeah, that's why I see it more as something that motivates me more to do my best this next Friday. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
I am as well. And one of the things that I am happy about is, and I kind of say this not as media, but now I'm talking more as a fan of you, is I'm happy that the fight's in England and not in America, not here in America, because the travel's a lot less. It's going to be a lot easier, I think, for you to. That's a short flight from Amsterdam to London. That's a short flight. Yeah. The travel is not going to be an issue. I think they're an hour behind you guys in time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very easy logistically. And does that kind of like give you a small bit of advantage, do you think, from just the logistics compared to your opponent? She has to come in from Japan. That's not easy to do.
No, it isn't. But I don't see like where the travel that have to be like a disadvantage or just your advantage. I see it as the person that stand in that cage at that moment, at that time. So for me, even if this fight was in, I don't know, on the other side of the world in Australia or somewhere else, for me, it's just the person that stays in the cage. So I don't think that the traveling have to be like a lot of disadvantage, because I think that everyone who stands there really wants to fight. So in my opinion, for me, the travel is not something that I see as something like, oh, it's in my favor or in her favor. I see it as just a person who works and who wanted as much as at that moment. And I believe that in every situation, in every country, that in my opinion, if I'm standing in that cage, that moment, that time, that I am the better one that wants it more than my opponent.
Completely understand. And one of the things that I think is really interesting about your upcoming fight against Watanabe is you both are very, very dangerous. You both don't lose. It's a very compelling matchup, and it's probably one of the more exciting matchups, I feel, in the entire weight class. What makes her so dangerous in your opinion, and what are some things that she's good at?
Well, if I have to be honest, if I look at her fights, and I'm not really impressed by her last fights, but I see that as something that's gonna be like, she's gonna stand in front of me like the best version of herself. So I don't really are looking to her last fight. I'm just looking at her as a fighter, that she have to prove that she's gonna have to be the best version of herself to fight against me. So that's the thing that I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about that I'm gonna fight the best version of Kana Watanabe, because that's what she's gonna need. And in her last fight, I don't look at her last fights, because if I have to be honest, I'm not really impressed about her last fight. I see a lot of holes, I see a lot of mistakes, I see the judo, but it's not something that I'm really impressed about. But what I'm looking forward to is that because of that, and because of her last fights, is that I know that she's going to be now in her best version when she stands in front of me in that cage. So that's, for me, the vision that I visualize when I think about Kana Watanabe.
One of the first things that people, I think, are going to pick up on is the height difference. She's a little bit taller than you, but your reach is the exact same. So it doesn't really make a difference. Stylistically, you're a kickboxer, and one of the best kickboxers that I know of, man or woman. And do you feel like with her style, with her aggression, that her plan might be to like take that away, or at least try to like be aggressive, try to back you up on the cage and utilize her judo and try to make this a ground fight? Is that something that you're kind of thinking about in the back of your head?
I think because I also have my black belt in judo, so I know every judo trick, and I've been there, and I believe that maybe she want to go to the ground with me, but I'm prepared for everything. And I'm just now Miss Dynamite, who also a complete MMA fighter, and I also can fight on the ground, and that's what I also did the last couple of months, working a lot on my ground game. So I'm more specialized in more technique and more on the ground. So even if you want to come with me on the ground, let's go. I'm ready for everything.
I would imagine, Denise, that a lot of people probably try to do that. A lot of people probably think about that and they're like, okay, well, if I catch one of her kicks, I'll take her down to the ground and then it's game over. But the funny thing is like, if we're thinking that, surely you must be thinking that as well, because this isn't kickboxing, it's mixed martial arts. And in order to be at your level, you have to demonstrate all the other disciplines. And I feel that's something, myself included, I could do a better job of talking about your skills on the ground and your skills in the clinch. You have a wide range of them, but it's just the kickboxing is just what we're so used to seeing, I think, that we kind of overlook some of your other skills. I think that's like one of the things that I always talk about when I talk about you. I'm like, don't sleep on her other skills that are very, very important. Can you talk, Denise, a little bit about your division at large? I'm very curious to know your opinion on the Carmouche Velasquez fight. That was one, I know you know both of those ladies very well. And did you have an issue at all with the stoppage that occurred? Did you feel that the referee, the official, made the right decision to stop that fight when he did? And do you feel that with a win over Watanabe, that it would only make sense for you to get another title shot?
Yeah, first of all, that fight was a really good fight. And I think that if you look at the fight, it was like close because Liz goes 2 times down. Velasquez get on the ground with a takedown and then end up in a ground and pound. But, you know, that referee, he's so experienced and he sees what he sees. And I think that he's one of the best referees that MMA knows. So he knows the best what to do. And the only thing that what his goal is to leave every fighter as safe as he can possibly do for the fighters, walk out that cage. And when at that point when he feels that he have to stop the fight, I think that you know, you have to deal with that and take your loss and work harder on your skills. Because what I'm saying, if you are a champion and you want to stay a champion and you fight with, yeah, you're waiting for something, and the same that what you did with my fight, you're waiting for something, you're not really taking the fight to what a champion has to do, then this can happen. So yeah, take the loss, go back to work, and see you another time. But now we have a new champion, and I believe that after my fight against Kana Watanabe, that I will be the next challenger that can win the title again from Liz Carmouche and being the next champion.
When I looked at that bout, and thank God I'm not an official. I'd be a terrible official too, by the way. I'd be terrible. But I think one of the things that I saw is anytime somebody that competes at the highest of the high level, we don't see the crucifix all that often. And when you see that position, it's almost impossible to get out of. So the referee, if they're good, they're going to pick up on that. And you're going to, if you're the person in the defensive position, any good referee is going to give you a very, very short window to get out of that, because we don't want to see anybody get disfigured down there. No. I personally thought it was a great stoppage. I thought he gave her enough time to try to get out of it. Yeah. She clearly wasn't. And her face was getting tagged up. Like, her face would have looked like hamburger meat had that gone on much longer. I think the referee did his job and did it perfectly. That's a controversial opinion to have. I feel a lot of people felt like the referee was being soft, and there were a lot of stupid remarks that were said, like, oh, he's going easy on her because it's a woman's fight. Yeah. I didn't agree with that, and it sounds like you and I are of the same opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, you know, what he already saw in every fight that he judged, you know, he has so much knowledge. So all those people that think they can be better, then take some study and go by yourself as a referee, you know, like, yeah, I think that he does his job, and his job is like what I'm saying. This he has to keep us safe there, you know. And at that moment, he felt that. So yeah, just what I say, take the swallow the pill and go further with your life, you know, and work harder on the things that you can do better. Because at the end, that situation that you lie in, you know, is just crazy. You know what you say, the crucifix, that's something that's terrible if you are in that. So yeah, it's not something that yeah, that everyone can say, oh, that was not you know, the referee this, the referee this. That if you are in that situation, just lie there and stand there and just tell me if the referee doesn't have to, you know, have to save you. So yeah, it's always, people always have to say something. And if they are really standing there, that's going to be a different situation.
I completely agree. And I kind of feel, with all due respect to Velasquez, it's not my business to talk bad about anybody, but I'm also not going to lie. I feel like that was a hurt ego. I thought her hurt ego was speaking. And I understand that. I do. I understand that. But because of that hurt ego, it is the referee did a poor job. He should have given me more time. But the right answer, in my opinion, is, well, just don't get in the crucifix then. Like that's the right approach. Like you should be mad at yourself for getting in that position.
Yeah.
If you're talking right away about the ref, you didn't do your job as a fighter. I say that with all due respect to Velasquez. I respect her. I respect her abilities. I don't like it when I hear complaints about the officials like that.
No, and that's the same, you know, like also with my fight with her. I heard, yeah, she had some family things. She was not there. That's why she fought like that. And now again, she gonna blame everyone around her. That is not her fault. But I think if you are a real champion and you are a fighter, look in the mirror. The only fault that you are that's gonna happen is you. You know, always the finger pointing. Yeah, my situation at home, because I heard after my fight that she said that she had some things at home and she was not there and she had some family drama or something, and now she gonna again something about the judge, you know. So it's always somebody else's fault. But look in the mirror. The only one that's hurting and is in pain, you know, and because of you fought like that, is you, nobody else. So get back to work and we see you soon. That's the only thing that I can say to her.
Denise, you are at a point in your career, you're in your athletic prime right now. You have accomplished so much in the world of not only mixed martial arts, but just combat sports in general. You have won multiple kickboxing titles. I know how much this Bellator Flyweight Championship belt would mean to you. And I wanted to ask if we could like envision like the win over Watanabe and then a win over Liz. Like, can you talk a little bit, like, what would it mean for you at this point in your career to win that belt? Can you talk a little bit like about when you first made that transition from kickboxing to MMA? There are a lot of people that doubt. There are a lot of people that are going to say, like, she can't do that. She's a kickboxer. And I remember hearing those types of things. And you've made it this far. I think you've shocked a lot of people that aren't paying attention. So can you talk a little bit, like, what would winning this championship mean for you? And could we see a time where you'll be defending that belt in Amsterdam one day?
That is my ultimate dream. You know, when you talk like that, I just get like chicken skin, you know, because then I get that feeling. And, you know, I'm martial arts is such a big part of my life. And when I was a girl from 9 years old, I started with judo, and after that, like the whole roller coaster from judo to kickboxing to now MMA, it's been so a big part in my life. And one day I saw a woman fight on television, and it was Lucia Rijker, and she was holding a belt. And after that, when I saw that and what a woman can accomplish in the whole fight business, I thought, okay, I also want that. And that's what I did. I was a world champion in kickboxing, and now I have the ultimate goal to just for all those years of work when I'm just a grandma watching my grandchildren, and I'm still gonna watch at that two titles that a woman that I have won in my career, and my love and appreciation for this sport and for whole martial art is in my career is going to be that I have two belts in two different divisions in the same organization. And that's something that's more than just to win. It's just my legacy. And that's my goal. I don't want to win. I want everything. I want so much more than just winning. I want a legacy. I want to prove that I can be a champion in more divisions, in more sports. And that's going to be the first woman that have a belt in kickboxing and in MMA. So that's my ultimate goal.
And I am really looking forward to that. I can't think of anybody else who deserves to have something like that. You've given a lot to this sport, and you're somebody that I think a lot of people can look up to in the sense that you don't have to be born fighting or competing in jiu-jitsu your entire life to be good in mixed martial arts. Like if you have the will, if you have the desire and dedication, you can learn all that stuff. Your path might be a little bit more difficult in the top, but I think you've proven that, and that's what makes you a very, very special fighter. I'm so happy that you're in mixed martial arts. I'm happy that you transitioned out of kickboxing because I feel like a lot of people would have just stayed there. They're like, no, like I'm gonna, like, this is my world. This is what I'm gonna be good at. But you decided to make that leap, and a lot of people don't. And you're fighting in a weight class, 125 pounds. Like you're talking about like fighting against like girls that are more often than not probably a lot bigger than you, and you're doing it anyway. And that's not lost on me. So Denise, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to watch you compete. And for everyone who is wondering, you can watch Denise fight very, very soon. She will be fighting on 13 May in London, England. So make sure you check that out. It's Bellator 281, and she'll be fighting on the main card right before the co-main event. So make sure you check that out. Denise, I want to give you the opportunity at the end of the shows. I always like to give my guests an opportunity to thank any of their supporters, any of their sponsors. I know that there are a lot of people that make the team of Miss Dynamite function. I'd like to give you the opportunity to thank any of them that you would like to.
Okay, perfect. Well, hi guys and everyone. I just want to thank you. Next Friday, I will standing in a coach, and I'm just not standing alone. I'm standing with you guys because you all are my motivation. Because like I said, I have the ultimate goal, not to only win, but to put some legacy on it and to be the first woman who have a kickboxing world title and is going to be the MMA champion in one organization. So that's my ultimate goal. So watch me next Friday, because next Friday is one step closer to my ultimate goal. And besides that, because all of your appreciation and all your love, I really, 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 I'm thankful for that. I just want to thank a special thanks to my management, to my manager, Raymond Dader and Rashid Lamlam. You are the best. You guys work so hard to put everything together and make us safe, because of you all, we are safe and we are healthy and are always ready to go. So big thanks to my team.